So what's up everyone, welcome to Etoro For Beginners episode 5, and we're going to talk about charts. Boring old charts, but trust me, there is more to this picture, and what I have seen on previous video comments is people don't really like the charting on eToro, and trust me, there is a lot more to this picture than meets the eye. I strongly suggest that everybody pay attention to this video because I guarantee you're going to find something that you have never found before using eToro's platform. Now, as always, if you are new and you have not signed up with eToro yet, if you sign up via the link on the pinned comment, sign up, deposit, make a trade using that link, you do get lifetime access to our LWT eToro chat room, where like-minded investors and individuals can come together and talk about what stocks they're buying and selling. So if that floats your boat and you're interested, make sure you have signed up with the details down on the pinned comment. And while you're down there, if you could make sure that like button is turned blue, it would greatly help me out. These videos do not rank well, and in fact, I actually think they hurt my channel, so a like would be massively appreciated to help this video reach a larger audience. Now, this is going to be a very quick and short video. Let's move over to the computer. Now, a lot of people have been asking, yes, I am using the desktop version in these videos, but I will be covering the app at a later date. So if you're watching this a couple of weeks after it premiered, then you probably will have that app video already. But in generic terms, it's pretty much all the same stuff, just on a different screen. But here we have our watch list, and if we click Apple, we're going to go and have a look at the charting of Apple. We've got the usual stuff: feed, statistics, chart, and research. We are interested in the charts. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused and sort of just click off and say eToro's just got bad charting, and it's just not the case. A lot of people think this is the chart, this is what they have to offer, and it is far from the truth. If you're on the desktop version, you will have these little arrows, which means expand. If you're on the iPhone or Android or whatever the hell phone is out in the future, then you might not have this. You will just have it automatically at the next stage. If we go and click this, this is probably what you'll see on your smartphone, and this is what we get. So coming out to it, we get a few more tools. We have the sell, we have the buy, these are the current prices. We have this crosshair thing, which basically if you turn it off, it does nothing. If you turn it on, it tells you the price with the date. You can see that, and it tells you in the top left corner as well. We then have the time frames, which we can go and look at as well. So we can change it, for example, to a 1 hour chart, and we can see that Apple's had a pretty rough time in the past few days, but we're going to keep it on the day chart for now. And then we have something that's very important, and a lot of investors skip this step. We can change whether we want it a line, to a mountain, to a bar, and it gets a little bit confusing. I strongly recommend everybody, investors, day traders, everybody alike, learn candlesticks. The hollow candles, the bars, it's sort of the same thing, but in my opinion, the easiest one and the most simple to learn is the candlesticks. And if you want a video on candlesticks, let me know down in the comments, because there's a lot of strategies just using this alone. But simply put, where the stock opens on the day, if it closes below that price, it's red, and if it closes above that price, it's green. That is the simple terminology. So for example, in this candle here, you can see that Apple actually opened, it went all the way up, and then somebody just sold out, and it sort of crashed back down, and that is called a wick. And again, I can cover that in a future video. But we're going to keep this on candlesticks for now, and then we have some of these tools here, which I definitely think you should be looking at. We then also have this little cog here, and then we can expand it even further if we want to do so. But we're going to keep this cog, and we're going to do something that nobody seems to do. What we are going to do is launch Pro Charts, but I also want to point out here, you can actually change it to a dark theme or whatever else suits your fancy. But we're going to go ahead and launch Pro Charts. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because what happens here is you are coming sort of out of eToro's usual circle, and you are now just in charts. So for example, if we change this to Tesla, we can just go straight to a Tesla chart. Whereas if we did it this way and we put Tesla in, we can see that we have to then go through the whole rigmarole of finding the chart, going back through Pro Charts, etc. So if we're only interested in charts, then the best way to do it is by launching Pro Charts. So let's get Apple back on screen. So now this is where it gets a little bit more in depth. Now you have, if you click this little cog here, a lot of different things. You can change, obviously, again, the dark theme, the time frame, the chart type, but you have also a lot of tools. So you can sort of put in some Fibonacci's, some horizontal lines, some vertical lines if you want that. Now, if you are getting confused at this point, it's dead simple. Here's what I would start with, and I would start with something called a moving average. These basically are all indicators you can put on your charts, and a lot of people use these to buy and sell stocks. So for example, if you put on a 50-day moving average, as we're about to, if the stock crossed the 50-day, that could be a buying indicator for somebody out there. It is complicated, But again, I strongly suggest you have the 50-day and the 200-day to start with. So if we come down to the studies 2, we can see we have moving averages. Now I'm going to put the 50-day, it automatically says 50 there, field close, type sample, offset 0, and I'm going to have it in a red color. If I click create, this is now the 50-day moving average for Apple. So this is the average price over a 50-day period. But I'm not done. I'm also going to add a second moving average at 200-day. And I'm going to color that one blue. This is just the color scheme I tend to use. Of course, you can use whatever you want. So what we can see here is Apple is above both its 50-day and its 200-day, meaning it has got some decent momentum. It's not an exact science, and you shouldn't buy Apple just because of this, but it just sort of tells you which way the trend is going over a long period of time. Now, there is something with the moving averages you can look at down here, which is something called a golden and a death cross. And that is when the 200-day crosses the 50-day and vice versa. And again, if you want to know more on moving averages, we can talk about that in a future video. But looking at charts itself, that's basically how I set them up. It's not massively complicated, but I strongly suggest you go in there and you have a play around with certain different criterias. You can have a look at RSIs. That's been very popular lately on YouTube. But I strongly suggest you go into the chart and you get the most out of your features. It is free with your eToro platform after all, and at least start getting some moving averages put on there. So that in itself is eToro charting. It's very basic, it's very simple, but I do think a lot of people just sort of sucker with it with the line, and I think you should definitely look at enhancing your journey and use candlesticks, throw in some moving averages, and play around with the features that eToro are offering you for free. A lot of charting services will charge you to have these indicators. So go ahead, make the most of it. At least it's another tool in your arsenal over on eToro. So look, if you have made it this far, we do always do a code word. Drop down eToro charts down in the comments below. It would massively help me out. Tickle that like button blue, and if you've got any other things you want to discuss on eToro, let me know down in the comments as well, and I'll be sure to make a video of it. That's it from me. Take care. God bless. Peace.